evening, it's Monday. This is Over and Over and Over Again. My name is Richard and this is the Arsenal Review. Well, that wasn't a bad weekend, was it, to be an Arsenal fan? We've had a few fairly good weekends this season, haven't we? But that one was probably up there with some of the best. Obviously, we saw the men beating Bournemouth in such dramatic fashion to regain that 5-point lead at the top. The women won a cup as well yesterday. So it's been a really, really good weekend for Arsenal. We're going to focus obviously on the men's team tonight. We've got other shows to deal with the women's team. We'll look at that later in the week. But we're going to look at that Bournemouth game. Obviously, loads to get through on that game. Pretty much from start to finish, loads of things happen, as we know. There's a Europa League's back this week. We've got a trip to Lisbon to play Sporting in the first leg. That's going to be a difficult game. We'll look ahead to that one. And of course, next weekend, we've got another hard Premier League game, or potentially hard Premier League game away at Fulham, who are going really well this season. So a couple of ex-Arsenal players in their team as well to look at, or 3 or 4 actually, I think. So it's going to be a good show. We've got some great guests joining us. It's all going to be coming up the other side of this.
Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it.
So good evening to everybody watching, and good evening to Melvin and Neil, of course, our regular guests on the show, as we like to see. Melvin, good to see you again. You must have enjoyed that weekend, I'm sure.
Well, on the day that we beat Bournemouth, it was my birthday, so it wasn't too shabby.
Fantastic. What better present could you have got?
Definitely fantastic. It was. I've been there. I've been to so many games at the Emirates and at Highbury over the years, and the place was actually rocking. Absolutely rocking, and it's just, I never thought I'd see that, because I've been there so many times at the Emirates over the past a bit longer than 4 or 5 years, sitting there going, what did we move for? Did we need a bigger stadium? It's soulless. It's like bits of concrete. Got nothing to do with me, this stadium. It's, now there's a complete change, 180-degree change, and it's beautiful, beautiful.
Oh, it is definitely beautiful, and that obviously the result at the end on Saturday was beautiful as well. Neil, as well, good to see you. I know you've had the faith from the beginning, so you're not going to lose it now, I'm sure. You must have enjoyed that weekend.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And Tottenham lost as well. How good can it get? It's almost the perfect weekend, but oh mate, I wasn't fortunate to be at that one, but I know what Melvin's saying. You could almost feel it rocking through the TV set. It's ridiculous. It is. I still will always say Highbury was the true home. I suppose for us, with all due respect to the two of you, the older generation. However, I am feeling this season especially that it is becoming a bit of a fortress now, and the atmosphere is so much better than it has been. It's 100% the best season for atmosphere, Melvin. I'm sure would agree. Yeah. It's incredible, amazing.
Yeah, and of course, the results on the pitch have been pretty amazing as well. There's only one place we can start, obviously, going back 48 hours or so to that fantastic game at the Emirates. It had pretty much everything, so we may as well get cracking on it. The one thing is, I was on Talk TV yesterday talking about the game, and the one thing that I've said is that, and it was mentioned by the host as well, that league champions always find ways to win games late in the day. Man United used to do it constantly. Liverpool back in the 80s and 70s used to do it constantly. And it used to annoy the hell out of us when we used to see other teams do it. It's almost like Fergie time, all that kind of stuff, right? And it is the sign of potential champions in our case, but it is that the winning teams find ways to win games against all the odds at the latest possible time. And that game on Saturday, and I'm sure I read somewhere, it's the only game that's had a goal in the first 5 seconds and in the last 5 seconds in the same game. Incredible. The game from start to finish it was mental. Honestly, it was a mental game to watch. It had everything. We were 2-0 down against the team second from bottom in the league that we expected to win easily. Some of the score predictions from last week, we look a bit silly now, but the way the game played out, at 2-0 down, we're thinking, was this going to be the day where the wheels really fell off. Because I think losing at home to Bournemouth at this point in the season, that could have seen a real bad run. How do you recover from a result like that? And that's what it was looking like. But suddenly, out of nowhere, Thomas Partey knocks one in and the game changed. And after that, I think all of us felt we would get at least something from the game. And of course, the equaliser gave us plenty of time in the end to get that winner. But to score, it was basically the last kick of the game, wasn't it? We didn't even restart the game. The whistle went and that was it. It was done. So leaving it late and there's scoring in the last kick of the game. I mean, incredible stuff. And to do it in that manner again, I mean, Aston Villa, we scored in stoppage time to win it. Man United, we scored in stoppage time to win it. This is now becoming almost a regular feature of our play, of our games. And although from our perspective, our heart can probably do with us winning a little bit more comfortably, like the Everton game last midweek when we won that nice and easily. This is the sign for me that this team has got that maybe mentality and character that previously has been questioned. And I think rightly so, it's been questioned. But this certainly since the World Cup, we've done it, 3 or 4 times now. We're getting these late goals in games that look as though it's not coming and we're going to be dropping points. And suddenly we're 5 points clear. There's less games to play every week. And it's suddenly looking really, really exciting, isn't it? I mean, Melvin, this has got to be the biggest chance that we've had of winning the Premier League for, nearly 20 years. It's got to be, hasn't it now? This season has got to be. This is the chance for us, isn't it now?
Well, a couple of points. First of all, you say 5 points. But if you'd have told me at the beginning of the season, at this stage, with 12 games to go, we'd have been 5 points behind Man City, I'd have been delighted. I thought, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. What are you talking about? You must be mad. How can we only be 5 points behind them? So that's one thing. Secondly, you spoke about, the last minute things or defining moments with teams scoring last minute goals. Well, you remember, we haven't won the league for a long time now. And the parallel for me is Man United when they played Sheffield Wednesday, I think it was. And Steve Bruce scored in the last seconds with a header.
Yeah.
I think they might have been 1 goal down a few minutes.
They were 1 goal down. That's right, yeah.
Right? And that for me, you had Brian Kidd on his knees on the touchline or on the pitch, actually. He'll get fined later. But on his knees, jumping around, like, oh, thank God. That, to me, is very parallel to what's happening to us. There's lots of parallels to this Arsenal team, to other teams that have won. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but for me, for the first time on Saturday, coming away from the ground, I thought, is it telling us it's in the stars? Is it really? Because there's something happening that I couldn't have foresaw. No one can see this. Is it in the stars? I'm thinking to myself, it's really amazing. And, if you're saying last minute goals, I don't want to keep scoring last minute goals, obviously, because at some stage you ain't going to get a last minute goal. So I'd rather be, as you say, an Everton game. But even when we were 2-0 down, we had Arsenal players, I think it was Zinchenko, and it could have been Odegaard, giving it all that to the crowd. They were happy to communicate with the crowd. Years ago, being 2-0 down, none of the Arsenal players would dare communicate with the crowd. It would have been toxic. And the crowd were cheering them on when they were 2-0 down. So, yes, when the first goal went in, we thought we got more than half a chance. Before the goal went in, I wasn't confident we were going to win, don't get me wrong, but I thought we had a chance, right? I thought we had a chance. And it was just that the mood just went and cranked up. And it was just mental, absolutely mental. It was, well, as I said, rocking. And I was there for 5-6 minutes after the game. Not after the game, after the game when the players had gone off, no one on the pitch. And you look round, you could hardly see any red seats. There's still people there cheering. It was absolutely. I don't know. Are we allowed to cheer after the game now? With the select, are we allowed to do that? Or the team's got to be on the pitch? Neil, you probably could help us out there. I'm not sure.
We are not allowed to celebrate full stop, Melvin.
Oh, I thought it was just when the players were on the pitch. But as I say, I don't know if no one knows if we're going to win it. It's probably still even money with 5 points. They might even be favourites, if truth be told. But like I said to someone the other day, I said to a couple of people, certain Arsenal supporters are probably wishing there was 2 games to go and we're 3-4 points ahead. No, I want to win the league. Don't get me wrong, but I want to watch every Arsenal game. I'm enjoying this ride so much. I want to see us play the next 12 games and enjoy it. I won't enjoy all of them, I know, but it is so good. Like hashtag enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. I mean, as I say, this has been what it is now our best opportunity, isn't it, to actually win that Premier League trophy, which has been a long, long time. You know, this is the longest spell we've gone without winning the league title since 1930 in our whole history. So, you know, it's been a long time, and I think that there's an accumulation of things happening at the moment, isn't there? You've got the fact that we've never won the league title at the Emirates. I think that's a factor, and that's adding to this kind of excitement around the fact it's been so long since we've won a Premier League title anyway. 19 years, or it will be 19 years if we don't win it this year. I think there's that excitement as well. There's a whole new generation of fans that are experiencing all of this for the first time as well. And I think there's so many things seem to be kind of coming together all at the same time. And you're talking about parallels, Melvin, and I totally agree with it. The parallel for me is almost like 1989, because it's a young team. You know, a couple of, obviously, 89 had more players through our youth system, but this team's got players from our youth system playing a big part. It's a young team, an unexpected title. We wasn't expected to challenge for the league in 89 particularly, were we? You know, we had a decent pre-season and people started thinking maybe so. This season's very similar, isn't it? And here we are, as we were in 1989, this point in the season, top of the table, thinking, hang on a minute, this could be quite good. And it's almost repeating that in a way. For me, it is. That's what I see the similarities with from our own sort of history and our own perspective, really. It's got that vibe to it, actually. And all we need now is that the away game at Manchester City to get postponed for some reason and be played in the final week of the last game of the season. That's the only thing that can make it the same, I suppose. But that probably won't happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting that vibe about it now. And I say there's so many things that are all coming together all at the same time. And that hasn't happened for a very, very long time, has it? You know, at Arsenal, we've had a lot of years of I wouldn't say struggle as such. I think struggles maybe not, you know, is a little bit overstated. But we've had years
rather than struggle.
Yeah. That's probably a better way of saying it. But we've had a long time, haven't we, where we've been waiting for something to happen when it's just not quite been there. A few seasons we've been in a position to think, oh, maybe, but we never believed. I don't think we ever believed enough. And now everybody seems to be everyone's almost starting to believe it now. And I agree with you, Melvin. We can't guarantee at this point we will definitely win the league or we're going to win the league. No, because there's still 12 games to go. We've got to play some tough away games, which we'll look at. But the position that we're in is amazing. And like you said, 5 points behind Man City would have been good enough at this point. To be 5 points ahead is just it almost feels unbelievable. Every week I'm watching the game, and that game on Saturday for me was almost like that kind of summed it up for me, because that whole game was unreal from start to finish, and that almost sums up the season for me. It's been that sort of a season. Unexpected things are happening at Arsenal week after week after week, and we're seeing it happen. And that game there was like, that's the season for me. In that one game on Saturday, that was everything about this season. I mean, Neil, you must have been. I mean, we went through every emotion in that game, didn't we? From the first minute conceding that really daft goal to going 2-0 down and thinking, oh my God, we've blown it all, to coming back and then winning. I mean, every single emotion in 90 minutes. That's like a whole season's worth of emotion, isn't it? In one game, it's just incredible.
That's why we love football. That's why there's no sport like it. In fact, there's nothing like it. You know, when people say to you, "Why'd you get so involved? It's just a game." It's not just. You don't understand. For a lot of people out there, yes, you're going to get maybe the armchair. When I say armchair, I don't necessarily mean they're always watching it from home. But you get those supporters that will take an interest, but that's where they'll leave it. They'll take an interest in it and enjoy it, and that's it. Or maybe take an eye on the results, and that's about it. But then you get the other level of fans, I suppose, and, you know, follow it through thick and thin, who know all the details. I mean, God, Melvin, yourself, both encyclopedias, so is James. You know, you take it to the nth degree almost, and it doesn't just become just a game. It's part of your life, actually, because you've invested so much time in it and so much effort into it. Of course it is.
Yeah.
And I think more importantly than even that, you feel like you're part of a family. And what do most people do about families? They care about their families. You have your squabbles with families. You have your great times with families. It's exactly on the same parallel. So when you watch a game like this, where your emotions are going from literally one end of the spectral scale to the other, it's incredible. I mean, Melvin, you were talking about the how now you've embraced Emirates. especially this season, and especially maybe after that game, was almost like the epitome of you making that decision that, right, actually now I can kind of start calling the Emirates at home. I feel like I belong there. It means something to me. I mean, there have been some great moments at the Emirates as well. I mean, we had the Barcelona win. We had that last-minute win against Man U when Van Persie broke his metatarsal and Henry scored the winner. There have been a few good moments like that. But I think I was lucky to be at those two games, and I wasn't at this one. But I could see it, as I said earlier. I think this is probably one of the best atmospheres ever at the Emirates, because of what you said earlier, Rich. The fact that it was Bournemouth. Everyone, even I think most people presume that, all right, it's still going to be a tough game. There are no easy games in the Premiership. We've said this over and over again. You're never going to get an easy game. That's why it's such a great league. However, on paper, and the way that we turned Everton over and the momentum we'd regained after the blip, 3 wins on the spin, we thought surely Bournemouth could be one of these where we could really eat away at the goal difference a little bit more and be comfortable. And then the fact that all of a sudden we're 2-0 down, so that made it even more special that it's this never say die attitude that these players have got. I didn't even know about that point that you made earlier, that one of the players, even when we're 2-0 down, started geeing up the crowd. That sums it all up. It's like we can't lose this, even to the fans. No, you're doing a great job. You're cheering us on, but make it even louder. Go another decibel up, because we can do this. We're 2-0 down, 63 minutes, 2-0 down, and we'd still win. And I'm sorry, there were so many events in that game, and we could probably take 5 hours to do this podcast. I mean, the controversies, the exciting parts of it, the substitutions. I mean, all of it. I mean, God. But I think at the end of the day, I think this is what it means to be a football fan. If ever anyone wants convincing as to why some people take it to that level, just look at this game. Just even the aftermath after the full-time whistle, and you will understand what it means. Truly. Amazing.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, you make a good point. I mean, like, how many things in life will allow you to experience all those emotions in less than 2 hours? What else could you do in your life? What other things are going to involve you feeling all those different ranges of emotions in such a short period of time? There's nothing else in life that can do that. And if you could bottle those feelings and sell it, you'd be the richest person in the world. You would, because you can't recreate that anywhere else. You can't fake it. You've either got it inside you to be able to experience those emotions, or you haven't. And if you haven't, then I don't know what you do. I don't know how you get that, because what else in life is there that can give you that? I don't think there is. If you watch things that you enjoy, we all enjoy other things apart from football, going to the theatre, going to the movies, where it might be, going to a concert, all these kind of things that you do, going to the pub, right? And you enjoy doing those, and they're great, and they make you feel good. But they don't very often make you feel really, really shit, and then really, really good in such a short space of time, do they? Do you know what I mean?
And on top of that, Rich, also, you've got 90 or thousands of other people feeling exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's all synchronized in a weird way. We're all going to, like the things you just mentioned, we're all going to experience them. We might all enjoy the same film, but we might enjoy it for different reasons. There might be certain aspects that you enjoy more than I do. With football, we all rise and we all go low at the same time. It's insane. It's brilliant.
Yeah. And movies, as good as they are, they don't have that same emotional impact on you, do they? Really, even the best film think of the best film you've ever seen, right? And we all got a top 5, top 10 films that we've seen hundreds of times. Even the first time you see them, they don't give you that same range of emotions that a football match like that one on Saturday was able to give you. They just don't. Nothing does. Nothing ever in life does. We've all experienced matches like this, and they are quite rare. Out of all the games that we've seen over our lifetime, fans of games, very, very rare. You could count them probably on both your hands. A number of games that's had that much like that particular game. They're very rare, but nothing else in life can ever reproduce that. It's amazing, really, what it does. And I don't know. I just think that you're right. This is why we love football. This is why we've been so invested in it for such a long period of time, because it's almost like you always got that hope that you're going to get moments like this, but they are so rare in the overall scheme of things. Let's be honest. But when they're there, it blows your mind almost. And you're talking about the noise in the Emirates on Saturday, right? I was doing a watchdog on the channel, and my stream was maybe 30 seconds or so behind the actual action. Some guy put a message on in the watch along saying Arsenal have just scored. It was before I'd seen the goal, and he told me, he said, I know because I could hear it from my house. I could hear the roar from my house. And I was like, wow. And I don't know how close he lives to the stadium. I'm guessing he probably lives quite close. But even so, to hear it from it, to actually put a finger there saying, I know we've scored because I just heard the crowd roar from my house. It's just amazing, isn't it? I mean, incredible. I couldn't believe that, actually. I mean, I was so kind of mixed up in the emotion of it. I didn't really ask him where he lived exactly, but I'm guessing it's obviously close. But even so, I mean, I was just, that blew my mind, actually, to think, wow. Do you know what I mean? So anyway. But yeah, I mean, the emotions involved in all of that is just absolutely incredible. And let's hope that there's going to be a few more of those moments to come between now and the end of the season, one way or the other. Maybe not quite as dramatic as that, maybe. But
I can't take it. I'm getting a bit old now. No, thank you.
Well, exactly, yeah. There's only so many of them games a season
that you can anymore, Richard. All right.
Well, no, I want to be a little bit more comfortable on some of the games, but
yeah.
I must admit, I do want to talk about the guy who scored the winning goal. You know, he's got a famous Arsenal name, hasn't he? A famous name from Arsenal history. Nelson, of course, a name that we all know well from the 1970s. And for him, the injury problems that he's had and the fact that his career has always been a bit stop-start at Arsenal, he's never really quite hit the heights that some people have predicted he could do. And for the fact that he's another player to come through Hale End, you know, we've had a few Hale End players make a big impact. And for it to be him in particular, I think that, you know, even more so maybe than any other player on that pitch at the time, the fact it was Reiss Nelson, who's had so many problems with injuries and whatever, for him to get that goal, I mean, wow. What I mean, Melvin, that made it even, not that anything could top it, but that made it even better, didn't it? The fact it was him that got the goal, as opposed to maybe one of the players who's been playing all season. But it was Reiss Nelson. I mean, wow, what a story.
Well, a few things been holding him back. Obviously, his injury record's not great.
Yeah.
He doesn't play that much. That's holding him back. And I think it's obviously because of those two things, he's lost a lot of confidence over the years. When he first came on the scene, I thought, this geezer is different class. He looked really the real deal. Yeah. Now that goal, all that confidence goes out the window now. He's got the confidence. Forget to tick that off. That can go. If he keeps him not being picked anymore, tick that off because we've got injuries and it looks like Arteta's going to have confidence in him as well. So tick that off. All it is with him now is staying clear of injuries. And that's a big if. But that's all it is. Instead of 3 hurdles, he's got over 2. He's got 1 to go. And that 1 hurdle, if he can clear that hurdle, we've got another fine player on our books from our young academy. But funnily enough, I looked at a couple of things today about our academy. We've got some very young kids coming through. They look, I know things change in life, Richard. They look unbelievable. Some I've heard of, but they are doing things with the ball. You're going, well, they're playing in the wrong level. There must be a man and they've taken drugs to make them look younger because they look different class. They look head and shoulders, and I don't mean in height, with the rest of the people they're playing against. So if you think about it, if we've got, it seems like we might have 5 or 6 of these really, really tip-top guys coming through. How good is that for our future? It takes the pressure off our wages, not wages, our transfer fees. Takes the pressure off of the manager. Where am I going to get a player from? And also, they're integrated straight away into the first team. You know, they're part of the setup. They know what the game is. We're not worried about what's their personality like, or you know, can they play when it rains? You know what I mean? But this is, and I'm just so excited for that alone. And if we don't win it this year, we'll have another go next year. I know we may not have a good as chance, but we'll definitely have another go next year. Because we will do it, and the year after that, and also with this squad, the year after that. So it's fantastic. The thing is, you said, you know, they kicked off a game at Bournemouth. I think they had one kicked off for a few seconds, didn't they? At the end of the game. Yeah. Could have still scored, Richard, in 3 seconds.
Well, they scored
after about 7. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Someone said, not me, I might claim it this one. Someone said, would it have been different if we won the toss? And we would have kicked off.
Well, it would have been a game. Yeah. Who knows? We might have won 5-0 if we'd kicked off.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have experienced that game as it turned out in the end. But no, you're right about the young players. I mean, I've been a lot more. I've taken a lot more interest in these sort of under-18s, under-21 since Jack Wilshere's been involved, following how he's doing with them and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff on the Arsenal website and stuff like that. I've been following them quite a lot, and they do look as though they've got some very, very talented young players that the next generation coming through. Now, how many of those will end up playing in the first team, we don't know. But it's good to have that. It looks as though that side of it, Per Mertesacker as well is involved, isn't he? Jack Wilshere. We've got that Arsenal connection through there. And I think that's really, really important. And the fact that wherever these talent people are out there looking at the kids to get them involved, obviously that's working really well at the minute because we've got some really exceptional talent. And yeah, and we can see over the last 10 years or so, the fruits of that are now producing in the first team, aren't they? Saka, Smith Rowe, when he's fit, Reece Nelson now as well. And this is great, isn't it? Eddie Nketiah has made an impact in the first team. I know we what we think about him, but he's still one of our players that's come through into the first team, scored goals and stuff like that, made an impact. We've got some players out on loan, Balogun, etc. And we've got this generation coming through behind them, and who knows how good they might be in 5 years' time, 4 or 5 years' time. It's an exciting time at the club, isn't it, from top to bottom, actually, at the minute. And it almost seems to have come from nowhere because 3 or 4 years ago, we were in a mess, or it seemed as though we were in a mess. But maybe behind the scenes, all this was happening and the things were being put in place that we wasn't aware of at the time. And it's all coming to fruition now, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it is a great time at the club. And you're right, Melvin, there, this is, if we win the league this year or we don't, we'll be disappointed obviously if we don't, but you're right, we've got the basis now to go on and be a force in European football for the next 4, 5, 6 years. If we can keep this team together with the young players that we've got, the young players coming in, we keep doing what we're doing in the transfer market, a couple of experienced heads in there as well every so often to keep them right, and these young players, and we could, this could be the start of an era of success that could even eclipse some of the eras that we've experienced before, maybe. Who knows? It's certainly, the things are in place, everything's in place for it now. And that's an exciting thing to think of when we've waited so long to even be in a position to challenge once, let alone have something long term. We didn't think that would be possible.
Richard, very important word, which you haven't done for years, challenge.
Yeah, challenge, exactly, yeah. And that's, in a way, and yes, we want to win trophies. We're Arsenal. We should be winning trophies because that's what we've made a history out of, right? We're not Tottenham. It's no good. It's no good celebrating being top of the league in August like they do every year. But we need to win trophies as well. I agree. But if we're challenging year after year, even if we don't, even if we're not winning it every year, which we probably won't, if we're challenging every year, that's the sign that's what we want, isn't it? As fans, we want to. You want to feel like you've got a chance, and that you're up there and you can compete with the best teams, and that's what we want to see again. And this is what I think now. Hopefully, this is the start of that, because everything's, as I said, everything. And you're right, totally right, Melvin. Everything's in place, isn't it, for that to happen? And if it doesn't happen, then there's some serious failings will have occurred behind the scenes somewhere, because we've got everything now lined up. We're all lined up. It's like lining up a load of Skittles, isn't it? They're all lined up now, just waiting. It's just waiting. They're ready to take that next step, and it's great. But I say, yeah, going back to Reece Nelson, I mean, I'm just so happy for him after all the problems that he's had to enjoy a moment like that. And even if that happens to be the highlight of his career, that could be his Michael Thomas moment, maybe, right? The highlight of his career. It might be. Hopefully, it's not. But even if it is, at least he's got to experience that in the Arsenal first team at the Emirates. Everything about it. I mean, Neil, that's a dream, isn't it? For all of us, when we were kids, we would have dreamed of a moment like that, wouldn't we? At home, scoring a goal like that. I mean, wow, come on.
All day long. Still dream it, Rich. Still dream it.
Yeah, I do actually, yeah.
You guys have absolutely nailed it. I think we can't underestimate the Hale End, what's happening with the academy behind the scenes. I'm so grateful that you mentioned Mertesacker and Jack Wilshere and what they're doing. I think we've got a real solid foundation and Melvin, I was saying exactly the same thing as you did. Everyone's wondering about, oh right, summer we've got to buy this, X, Y, and Z, we've got to spend 80 million here, and do you know what? We've got the resources at home. If these guys look amazing, as Melvin has said, and I'm sure you have seen it as well, Rich. Don't forget we've got the likes of Patino, we've got Balogun. All right, okay, I know it's hard to call it because he's in a different league altogether. But he can only do what he can in the league he plays in, and in the league he's in, he's doing wonders. And that's a great loan move for us. And that's one thing I've noticed about Arteta. His loan moves have been a lot more shrewd and cute. They're working a lot better. And you know, he's bringing in these players bit by bit from the reserve team and the academy set up, and they're working. And if you think about Reece Nelson, apparently, I mean, again, you guys probably know this, but actually at the time he was probably the best of the crop. That was all they were saying. You know, this is a crop that included the likes of Saka and ESR. He was the best. And then unfortunately what happened, that it just didn't quite work out for him. And like you, Rich, I'm so happy for him. I'm so pleased. And all 3 goals had an Hail End connection, which is lovely because you had Smith Rowe assisting the first, you had Reece Nelson assisting the second, and then obviously, and you got a smile out of Ben White. I mean, oh my God. And, you know, he might even start liking football after that. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe,
well, he might do.
Maybe some things are possible, aren't they? But and then you've obviously got Reece Nelson doing the amazing thing that he did. And you're right. If that ends up being the only thing he ever does, he's still going to become a legend or go down as a legend. I'm so pleased. I hope to. Well, I think because we're still in the Europa, he's definitely going to get time. If he's injury-free, he's going to get time. I still think he's got a good shout for the first team. The only blight on that game was Trossard. Now, I don't know how long he's going to be out for because he's obviously been very good for me. I've really liked him. Like Jorginho as well. I've really liked how they've come into the setup and how they're playing. And if we're going to lose him to an injury for maybe 3-4 weeks, I don't know. I believe it's a groin injury. I don't know how long he'll be out for. Hopefully not too long. But we have got Jesus knocking on the door. I know that. But I think this is as good as time for Reece Nelson as any to really make his mark. I know his contract's up in July. Rich, I hope to God we keep him. I think there is rumours that there is talks already started about extending that. I hope they're true. I hope it happens.
I think the talk started 5 o'clock on Saturday, Neil.
Right. So, there you go. So, I mean, he loves the club. He's an Arsenal boy. I mean, after that, I mean, he probably celebrated the least. That was the irony of it all. Everyone else around him was going absolutely ballistic.
He was cool, wasn't he? He looked pretty cool, didn't he? He sort of going, well, you know, I've just got to go. It's fine.
And you know what? I like him in interviews. I just like the way he speaks. To be honest, I also find Ben White hilarious on these interviews. It's like, what did Arteta say to you when he was bringing you on? Not much. It's like, that's it. He's
Mr. Personality, isn't he, Ben White? He's Mr. Personality, isn't he?
I actually find him so funny. But, oh, mate, I've got great aspiration, great feeling about this younger crop that are coming through. And we're forgetting one thing. The team we've actually got out there at the moment is the second youngest in the league. So we're here to stay for a good while. And, yes, we may not win it every season. There's no point asking me about this season. You know I'm going to say we've already won it. Especially that is fate. That is written in the stars. We're lifting this title. But, you know, I know we have struggled to retain a title. I mean, that would be the next great thing for us to do. But you know what? I think we're probably as good as any squad that I've ever seen. Almost there to do that, to at least challenge to do that. And that's the big word. But we're not only challenging, guys, we're playing good football. It's attractive football at times. It's nice to watch. Some of the goals that we score and even the stuff we do at the back. It's like, wow, you know, we've got some good defenders. Yes, mistakes happen all the games. But let's give a shout out to Ramsdale. Let's give a shout out to Gabriel in that game. You know, if it weren't for them, we could have been, because they had, initially, they had the better chances. And Ramsdale had to put out a couple of good saves to keep it at 2-0 or 1-0 at the time. So, you know.
Absolutely.
Terry Waite's asking who's the youngest player. It wasn't Fulham. He came on against Bournemouth, didn't he?
It was Brentford, wasn't it? It was Brentford away.
Brentford, yeah, Brentford.
Nathan.
Those two muddled up.
What's his name? Nathan.
Is it Ewan or something?
Nathan, I think his name is.
Nathan, not Ewan. Yeah, Nathan. I saw a bit of him today. Bloody hell.
15-year-old.
He's powerful.
Hey? 15,
He looks like he's a giant. He's like, what?
Yeah, he's a big lad. Yeah, he is a big lad.
He must be in how many? 16 shredded week, not 3.
Only 2 boxes.
Yeah, 2 boxes. I think that's what he definitely does. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen him again in the first team squad since that particular game against Brentford, but there's going to be some of those young players are going to start appearing over the next year or two, definitely 100%. You know, especially if we're in the Champions League, I think the group stage games, the Carabao Cup, all that kind of stuff, we're going to see a lot more of them. I think, you know, that was always, especially the League Cup was always the breeding ground for those young players, wasn't it, under Wenger? That we used to just play a whole team of them most of the time. And if we won, we won. And if we didn't, no one really cared. And I can see us going maybe down when we're back in the Champions League, I can see us going more down that route in the League Cup. You know, I mean, the last few years we've played not the strongest team, but it's not been a team of kids. We've been taking it a little bit more seriously because of not winning the Champions League. But now I think with the Champions League next season, I can see us playing a lot of these young players in the group, in those, some of the group games in the Champions League, getting minutes. And also I'll say I mean, that was how, wasn't it? Our Saka came through, our Smith Rowe came through playing in those sort of games, didn't they? So, you know, Jack Wilshere previously and guys like that all came through, didn't they, in that kind of way. So I think that's going to be what we'll do going forward, and it's going to be great to see how these kids develop, because we love to see our own young players coming through, don't we, into the first team and doing well, and that's why I say for it to be Reece Nelson that got that goal, it made it extra special, didn't it? Because that's what we love, don't we, as Arsenal fans, our own young players coming through. We've got 13 times. He was telling me the other day, obviously it's 13 times for how many times we've won the league. He wants to change it to 14 times in the summer, so hopefully he can. He says, evening lads, another great comeback. I'm not sure my heart can take any more of those. Well, no, they can't. But if we have to suffer them, we'll suffer them, won't we, between now and the end of the season if we have to. I mean, we don't want to have to. We'd rather have a few more Evertons than a few more Bournemouths. But, you know, we'll take what we get given, and we'll try and deal with it the best that we can. Terry says, now league, win the league this season, top 4 next season, and win the Champions League in 24. Well, yeah, I mean, the Champions League is... I've got to be honest, the Champions League, I want to win because we've never won it. And I still can't get 2006 out of my head, being that close, 1-0 up and all that kind of stuff. And I want to win it, obviously, because it's the one trophy we haven't won. But I would rather win 4 or 5 Premier Leagues in a row than win a 1 Champions League. I've got to be honest. I would rather do that.
100%.
Every single season, you know,
it's consistency. That's consistency.
Yeah, but I would like 1 Champions League, at some stage, just to show everyone up. We keep going Liverpool fans and even Nottingham Forest fans when they knocked us out of the cup singing, you know, Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that and all this kind of stuff, and Chelsea and all this. So we need to win it just to shut everyone up. But let's. I want to see this consistency in the Premier League every year, challenging, winning titles. That's what I want to see. And if we can get that as well,
Richard, it's right what you're saying. I'm not saying it because we've never won it, because I want us to win it, and we've got to win. But in some respects, I know you're playing better teams in the later stages of the competition, but you're not playing all the great teams. You might play 2 or 3 very good teams.
Yeah, exactly.
League, you're playing a lot of good teams.
Yeah, everywhere.
So it's harder to win the league.
Of course it is. Of course it is. And I can never understand why this the Champions League has been made out to be like the holy grail of football. The biggest, the champion, whoever wins the Champions League is the best team in Europe. No, they're not. It's a cup competition. Whoever wins the FA Cup isn't the best team in England. They just won a cup competition.
Exactly.
If you win the Champions League, you've won a cup. And yet, I do want to win it. And I'm not trying to devalue it. It's a big competition and we want to win it. Of course we do. But your league, your bread and butter, your 38 games, that's what matters. How good you are over a season of 30. And as you said, Melvin, playing these teams, you know, some of the top teams, in Europe, we're playing, and even the lower teams down. We saw against Bournemouth. You know, teams like that can play football the way that Bournemouth played, and we're getting these games every week. And to win that league and to win it consistently, that shows what a great team you are. You know, anyone can win the Champions League once, can't they? Anybody can. It's
Aston Villa did it
in your league.
Yeah, Forest did it twice, didn't they?
Forest did it twice in a row, exactly. You know, and they had a good side. Then, of course, they did. But don't forget, in them days, winning the European Cup, you only had to get through 4 2-leg ties to get to the final, did it? It wasn't like now when you've got to play 50 games.
And it was only the champions in those days. It was only
champions, yeah. It was harder in that sense. No, it was, but less games, probably easier to win maybe than it is now. It's difficult to compare it, but either way, we didn't manage to win it then because we didn't win the league, and we haven't managed to win it all them years we were in it. So we do need to win it. But 13 times says the Champions League is a bit of a monkey on our back. Want to shake it? I mean, exactly, it is, and that is the only reason why I want to win it, for that one reason only. And then once we've done it, to be honest, I'm not going to be interested in it anymore. We've won it. That's it. We've done it. It's done. Over and done. We've put it in the trophy cabinet with all the other trophies, all the other millions of trophies that we've got. Put it in there, and then let's focus on winning the Premier League for another 5-6 years. That's what I want to see us do. Terry said exactly, Richard. That's my point. We can win the league anytime we want. Well, I don't know if we can win it anytime we want. I think that's I don't think it's quite as easy as that. I think there are going to be a few teams that are building stuff and going to be challenging us, but we've got the opportunity to maybe hopefully win it on a few more occasions in the next few years. But yeah, that to me, that's what I want to see. I want to see us consistently up there in the league every year, challenging, winning league titles, and anything else on top of that is a bonus as far as I'm concerned, because that's what you're judged on. For me, that's what you're judged on. A great team wins the league. A great team wins the league. A good team wins a cup. A great team wins the league. That's the way it is.
Do you know one thing that just sprung to my mind just now? I'm thinking about the possession that we had. It was overwhelming against Bournemouth, possession stats.
Yeah.
You remember the game? You go back a couple of weeks when we were a little bit in a bit of not trouble, but we were wobbling slightly. And then Man City happened to play Forest, who I think was the bottom of the league at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a similar overwhelming possession, but they didn't capitulate. They didn't, They didn't take advantage of that because Forest ended up getting a point off them, and they dropped 2. But we still went to that nth degree and got the 3 points. And it just makes me think that that's the slight difference. I know you can't compare it because it's 2 totally different games. I think City were away as well, weren't they, to Forest?
Yeah, they were away.
Yeah. But it just something just came through my mind just now. So I just wanted to say it out loud, thinking that that's interesting that we on any other day, Richard and Melvin, maybe the season's gone by, we might not even got a point, let alone 3.
Look at last season. That game was very similar to, I think it was Brighton at home last season when we went 2-0 down and we got a goal back in the last minute. It was too late and we lost the game. And I kind of agree. Last season, we may well have lost that game last season because we've got there's a whole different vibe about the whole team now this season than it was even last season. With largely the same players, a few new ones sprinkled in, but it's a whole different team. Even though it's the same players in a way, it's a different team, isn't it? Watching them, the mentality and everything's different. So yeah, I agree. I don't think we would have won that game last season. That's all. No. Almost definitely not.
Funny you're talking about Forest, Neil. Sorry to interrupt. There's rumours that Spurs want Steve Cooper as their new manager if Conte goes. It's a strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very strange one. I mean, he's a decent coach, Steve Cooper. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he did great at England, didn't he, when he was working at the England team before? But he's a very good coach. But is he the sort of manager that you'd want if you want to consider yourself to be challenging into the top 4? No, not for me.
Can he handle enormous players? That's the thing.
Well,
big egos.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be shocked about that if they do that. I would be really, really shocked if he's their next manager. Really shocked. Yeah. But let them crack on, do what they want. We don't care. They're not. They're not even.
Whoever they get is still going to be rubbish. So don't worry.
They're an irrelevance really now to us, aren't they? They had their little time for glory when they came second one season and they got.
What was that shift of power they were all going on about? What shift of power? What did they? Apparently, when there was a shift of power, they won nothing. That's amazing.
Well, they've always won nothing, so that's all they can think about, isn't it? They enjoy winning nothing. I think if they was to win something, I honestly don't know they'd know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. It's like, what do we do? They wouldn't know, would they? So no, but they're only relevant to us, aren't they, Tom? Let's be honest. But that would actually be quite funny if they got Steve. I mean, I like Steve Cooper, but if Tottenham get him as their manager, I'm sorry, that's not. Having said that, though, when Mikel Arteta was appointed manager of Arsenal, quite a lot of people were like, what have Arsenal appointed Mikel Arteta for? So, maybe it's going to be a masterstroke in disguise. We don't know. But, that's not for me. But anyway, Bournemouth was rather good, actually, wasn't it, in the end? Unexpectedly good, because we thought... I remember last week we were predicting 5-1s and 5-0s, and I think Terry said 8-0 or whatever he said, like he normally does. And that's the sort of game we was expecting. And I honestly thought on Saturday we'd be sitting back relaxing, watching it, thinking, lovely, 5-0 at half-time, brilliant. We could just, no stress. Yeah, get the cigars out and all that. And it turned out to be, 5 seconds into the game, it's like, oh, hang on a minute, maybe it's not going to quite be as straightforward as we thought. But anyway, it was good fun in the end, wasn't it? I suppose, and that's
And
what it's about.
The first time that they fielded a team without Wenger being manager or managed any of the personnel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was the starting 11. It was. Yeah, the starting 11.
Wow,
yeah.
That's unreal. And someone said that can't be right because he didn't start managing. I said no. We're not talking about when he was actually managing. We're talking about the players. So Tony Adams and the like were playing in that era, and he managed Tony Adams. You see, so that's where it comes from. Incredible.
No, because he was manager for 21 years. Where it was. It's like so many players
come and gone.
Came and gone in that time. But no, I must admit, when I read that, I was like, wow. It was the first time since 1986, wasn't it? That it was
86 against Villa,
in the starting 11 that had played under Arsene Wenger. It's like really wow, incredible. And that was only because Xhaka was left out of the starting team. That was the only reason.
I know. It's crazy.
Because he normally plays, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an amazing stat, actually. You think all that time, 1986. Wow, just amazing. Terry says it was 6-1. His prediction was last week. Okay, I think I said 5-1 actually. But anyway, yeah, it was not that sort of a game in the end, was it? I say Everton, I thought was going to be like a 1-0, a really tight, scrappy game, and that turned out to be a comfortable win. And a Bournemouth one we thought would be comfortable turned out the other way around. So we got them the wrong way around, didn't we? But ultimately, we got the 6 points that we wanted. So that's all that matters, really, isn't it? At the end of the day. I mean, talking about Europe, we were talking about Champions League, and that's what we can hopefully expect to look forward to next season, I'm sure. But for the meantime, we're still in the kind of second-rate European competition. But to be honest, I quite want to win it. And it starts back for us on Thursday night. We are going to Portugal, and it's going to be good fun because we're playing Sporting Lisbon. Now, obviously, we did mention the draw, didn't we, the other week when it had been made, and reasonably happy with the draw. I think we are. I think maybe now it could actually be quite a good distraction for us from the stresses of the league, because it's a competition that, looking at who's left in it, looking at how we're playing, why can't we expect to do well and go all the way through to the final? But now, we mentioned this, didn't we, the other week about the squad now, looking at the depth on the bench, we can make 6-7 changes to the team on Thursday, and we can still put out a good side that should be good enough to get a result, away at a Sporting and to go through this tie. And to me, it's a good position to be in, because 2 or 3 months ago, we didn't have that luxury. You saw in the group stage of the Europa League, when we rested the first team players, the players that come in, the drop down was horrendous. And although we won most of the games, it wasn't the hardest of groups, let's be fair. But now you look at, we've got almost now, with everybody virtually fit. Yes, Trossard's a problem now that we've seen he got injured. We don't know what the issue with Smith Rowe was when he went off after coming on. Not sure what was going on with that. But we do look as though we've almost got 2 players for every position now. So we can rotate heavily in the Europa League and still be strong enough to go through, which is a great situation to be in. I mean, Melvin, do you think we will rotate heavily for this Sporting game, bearing in mind we've got another really tough game at the weekend in the Premier League?
We will rotate, definitely. The only problem I've got, we could actually rotate 11 if you like, and have a very good team on paper. Yeah. The problem is, Richard, if we have 11 changes, however good those players are, they very rarely play together.
That's a good point.
On the bit. Yeah. And you see, when the game starts, a little bit hesitancy among them. I've noticed that in the European games. For example, Tierney, fine, but if he plays next to Kiwior, is it the guy, how you pronounce his name?
Kiwior, yeah.
By all accounts, is a very good player, but they've never played together before. And to do it in a European game, I know he's got to make his debut at some stage, the guy, because we need it, because he's part of the squad. And it's a very difficult decision to make. Do we, it's not our most important game. Normally the next game is, but it's not for this time. It's important, but not as important as Fulham, if you like. So you can't give him a league debut, this guy. You've got to play him in Europe, so perhaps that's the one you've got to take a chance with. Yeah. You've definitely got to play Tierney. Tommy, I don't know whether he got taken off because he wasn't fit or whatever. Did he got taken off? Tommy? Did he get taken off? He did.
Well, because Ben White came on and scored. I mean, that's right. What's going on with Tommy? I don't understand it. He was brilliant last season, and I don't know what's gone on.
I don't think he's getting enough game time. That's my thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, does Holding get a game? Do we? We can rest the Saliba, who was again like Rolls Royce. I know
we could play holding. We could play holding that QER, couldn't we, as a partnership?
That's what I'm saying. Do we do that? Because midfield, well, there's nowhere when Eddie is there, but Nelson gets a game definitely.
Yeah.
So, do we have to play Saka? I suppose we do, because he's the main man, isn't he? That's the problem. He's our main man. Partey, I'd give the Jorginho a go there.
Yeah, I would.
He's played in Europe. He's won Europe, so why not?
Yeah.
So we can make a hell of a lot of changes. Perhaps Xhaka will play. He had a bit of a rest. You might want to put him in there.
Did he rest him for this purpose, maybe, to play in the Europa League? Yeah, I think maybe that might have been why. Yeah, definitely. But we've still got maybe Eddie to play, don't we, up front? He's the only option that we've got, really, isn't he, now?
But if he's fit.
Oh, no, he's not fit. He wasn't in the squad, was he?
No,
that's a point. Who's going to play up front then? If Trossard's not fit, Eddie's not fit. Suddenly it's like shit, actually, have we?
We've got injuries which can't be helped. We've got Martinelli might play there, you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's
too bad.
I think the rest of the team we've sorted, aren't we? Midfield, defence, we've got cover for pretty much every position. We've got quality cover in most positions now. But I still think up front we're lacking a bit, aren't we?
You've got 3 injuries up front, Richard.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's the problem. I know, but I'm not saying we haven't got to play. Well, I still think we are still one striker short anyway, regardless of with everybody fit. I do think we are still, but yeah, everywhere else in the team is pretty strong. Saka, as you said, can he keep playing this number of games and not run out of steam? Because I don't know, every week you think, he needs a rest. Then he plays next game, and then he has a brilliant game, has an impact. You think, well, actually, we can't rest him, and he just keeps playing and keeps playing. I'm with you. I don't think he'll rest him on Thursday. I actually think he will play Saka. I do. I really do. I just hope that he doesn't regret it, because the Fulham game, I agree, is probably slightly more important at this moment in time. It is, and I'd love to win the Europa League. I mean, 13 times in the chat said there, how would you guys feel if we finished second in the league and won the Europa? I'd be
no interest.
No, come on. It's a trophy, man. It's a trophy, isn't it? A European trophy.
I wouldn't swap one for one, Richard. I wouldn't swap one for one. I wouldn't switch.
No, I don't want to have to switch. I want to win both of them. That's what I want to do. But if the season so panned out that we finished second in the league to Man City, but we won the Europa League, I actually would think, you know what, that's not a bad season, is it? All in all,
it's not a bad season, but I'd rather win the league and get knocked out on Thursday, rather than win the Europa.
Yeah, but we can't guarantee yet that we're going to win the league, can we? So we can't afford to. You know what I mean? A trophy is what we should. This season, we deserve to win a trophy. There's no doubt. The football that we've played, what we've done this season, we deserve to win a trophy. And if we can't win the league, and Man City are going to be a difficult team to overcome for the rest of the season, there's no doubt about that. If we can't win the league, then we have to win the Europa League, don't we? Because it's the only other option. So I would say, if that happens, we'd all have disappointment not to win the league. Of course we would, in the situation that we're in, and we're starting to dream about the trophy parade through North London, aren't we, in May again, and all that kind of stuff. So of course we'd be disappointed. But if we do win, 2 European trophies in our history, if we were to make it 3 this season, I think we'd all be. That would ease that blow, wouldn't it, of not winning the league? I think it would ease the blow of it. Imagine finishing with nothing. That would be disastrous, wouldn't it? When the situation that we're in, at least we'd have a trophy at the end of it. I wouldn't actually, when everything had settled down, obviously the excitement of winning a European trophy, I think I'd be quite happy with that actually for this season. Personally, that's just me. I don't know. Neil, what about you? What would you feel?
I'll be crying if we don't win the league after I've been saying from the start. I'll go to hiding, mate.
Oh yeah, I suppose so.
No. I think we've done so well. We've done so blooming well. 12 games to go is a lot. I know. I appreciate it, but looking at we can't do that because for me, in the normal circumstance, every blooming game in the Premier League is hard. In this circumstance, when you're chasing a win to win the league, they're going to become doubly hard, maybe even treble. Because you've got the added pressure, and of course all the other teams will want to try and stop you because that's their all right, we might get relaxed. They might relax against a team which is 10th in the league and there's nothing much to play for. But when they play Arsenal or whoever's at the top, they want to give their all because they're thinking We want to show that, all right, you couldn't beat them, but we did, or you couldn't stop them, but we did. So yeah, of course, I completely get that. It's going to be so difficult, but I just think this team's got the right stuff. The only thing that I think, for me, the only team that can stop us is us. A breakdown in mentality, a breakdown in communication, a breakdown in some of the things which is making everything work. Like you said earlier, Rich, everything just seems to be right at the moment, right from the academy all the way up to the top. And, we haven't had that for decades, literally 2 decades. We've not had that. And It's all come together so well. And I think results like the Villa game, results like the game against Bournemouth, it's almost like fated, because on another day, Ramsdale isn't saving that shot. And we would have been 3-0 or 2-0 down at that time, and then 3-0 down. On another day, we wouldn't have had the extra 2 minutes, even though we probably rightly would credited them because of the stoppage in the injury time, or because of that. But on another day, the referee might still have blown, or might have blown at 97, and we wouldn't have had the chance. Nelson would have been given the chance for that goal. And I just feel that there's a lot of fate. Something's written. Something I can smell it, Rich. I can smell it. So no, I will be gutted, absolutely gutted. But of course, I'm not gonna poo-poo a trophy. If we go on and win Europa Cup, I'd love it, because we haven't won that either. And if we can win that and then win the Champions League next season, we've got the whole set, haven't we? That'd be great. I'm never going to say no to a cup. I wouldn't even if it was a League Cup, I'd want to win it. I know a lot of people poo-poo that and say, it's only the Tin Pot Cup. But it's a cup. It's a cup. It's a cup. And for me, that's recognition of the hard work that the players and the management team have done throughout the season.
For the season, exactly.
You've got tangible reward. Like you just said, how would it feel if we end up with nothing? We're going to be gutted with nothing. Absolutely gutted.
We are. Exactly.
However, said all of that, we're winning the league. So the conversation.
I don't know. You think we're going to win the league, so that's fine. We know you're going to say that. Terry says, drop Saka, looking like he could do with a rest. Well, he doesn't. He looks like he could do a rest every week, but every week he plays, and then he doesn't look like he needs a rest. So I don't know. Russ is in the chat. Hey, Russ, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Mark C as well says everyone's wondering what the injury status is on Trossard and ESR. I was reading today that ESR wasn't injured. Apparently, Arteta said obviously he wasn't expecting him to have to play as much of the game as he did because of Trossard's early injury, and he'd played maybe 60, 70 minutes where it was, and he thought that's enough time for ESR. Don't want to push him, so he took him off, not because he's injured, but to protect him, because he wasn't expecting, he wasn't ready to play that amount of time. That was what Arteta said, and that kind of makes sense. A substitute coming on and going off always looks a little bit suspect, doesn't it? It's a bit dodgy situation unless there is an injury. But I don't believe ESR is injured. Trossard's a different matter. We know Trossard's got an injury, and hopefully it isn't a serious injury that's going to keep him out for weeks, because he's been vital in the last few games, hasn't he? He's been brilliant. So he would be a big miss if he's going to be long.
I read somewhere tonight or today, Rich, that he's going to miss Thursday's game, but that should be it. He might be available for Fulham, but I don't know how reliable.
That would be great. That would be great if he was.
Encouraging.
I mean, I don't think he'd have probably played Thursday anyway, so that's kind of in or there, really. But yeah, if he's back for Fulham game, that would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Wow. That would be fantastic. But let's fingers crossed, because, we need to keep as many of our important players fit as we can now, don't we, for every game. Terry says, move the convo, we're going to win both. Well, I'd like to think we can win both, but who knows? Terry says, no one will want to play us. No one will want to play us, absolutely not. But yeah, it's how seriously we maybe take that competition is going to decide how far we go, I think.
I think there are going to be, I think Turner will play, Ramsdale will be rested.
Yeah.
I like Turner. I think one of Gabriel Saliba will play, just to keep that familiarity.
Possibly.
Then it will be either this Kiwi or Holding, or a bit both. Maybe Kiwi will come in later, or Holding will come on late, depending on the game. Tierney's got to start. He's got to play.
He's got to, yeah.
Tomiyasu possibly on that side to give him some minutes.
I would.
You know who I think will get rested? Odegaard might get rested. We might see a bit more of Vieira. And Nelson will play. I think Nelson. It could be the solution up top could be Nelson, Martinelli, and Saka. I can see Saka starting. I just don't think the guy's going to rest.
No,
I don't know what he's made of.
He's one of them players, isn't he? That's going to play every game. Just
I think so.
Every team maybe has one player that plays every game, and I think maybe Saka's our one. Whatever competition, he'll just play him only.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. Yeah, when you think how many games has he played in the last 2 seasons, 2.5 years? Like he's hardly missed a game. Any competition, hardly missed a game. Incredible, really. When you think he gets kicked about every single week as well, the treatment he takes, and for there's a couple of games that to go off because he's injured. And you think, he's going to miss a game. Next game, 3 days later, he's playing again. It's like, how did that happen? That's what is he? He's like a robot. He's got to be. He's not human. He can't be.
They call Haaland a cyborg. I think he's a blooming cyborg.
Yeah, I think he is. He just never seems to get injured, does he?
I'm going to look at our academy going back a few years and see if we did have 2 Sakas in the academy. So I reckon there's 2 Sakas we've got.
We keep swapping them over. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. He's got a twin, hasn't he? He's got a twin who's just as good. So we don't know.
That's what I reckon.
They just rotate him every week and no one knows. It must be what it is. It must be, yeah, because it's incredible. But I agree. I think he probably will play Thursday, actually. But yeah, I think Nelson should definitely play. See, I think with the fullback situation, obviously, Tomiyasu and Tierney, now last season in particular, they were brilliant, wasn't they? We thought they're going to be our 2 fullbacks forever, going forward because they were pretty young, they were great. But what's happened is the transition in the way that we play now, that, he likes the left back to move into midfield. You saw Tierney when he'd come on, he's moving into that midfield position. He did against Everton, didn't he? And he's obviously trying to adapt to that role. And then what happens is because Ben White's a centre back playing right back, we then go free at the back. They shuffle across, and you can kind of see that with Tomiyasu. When Tomiyasu's there and Tierney, it's not going to work the same because they're different players. And I think that's why they're not in the team as much now. And when Tomiyasu's played, it doesn't work as well. And when Tierney's played, it doesn't work as well. And that's nothing against those individual players. It's just the system isn't really suited to them anymore. It's evolved, and they've not really a part of that anymore, I don't think. And I think Tierney will leave in the summer. I think Newcastle will end up buying him. And Tomiyasu, I don't know. Maybe he might have to leave as well. And he might have to buy other fullbacks.
I like Tommy. It's a shame.
I do. I mean, I like both of them, actually. They're really, really good fullbacks, aren't they? The pair of them are really strong fullbacks, but not in the system that we play. They're just not suited to it. That's why Ben White's played right back all season. He's not a natural right back, but he doesn't have to be because he suits it. And Zinchenko's not a natural left back, but he doesn't have to be because the roles that Arteta wants them positions to play, it suits them 2 players. It doesn't suit the others, and it's a shame. And I agree. I'll be gutted if Tomiyasu went because I love him. I think he's brilliant. I love his attitude. He's a great player. And and the same with Tierney. It'd be such a shame, wouldn't it? But if they're not playing, they shouldn't be sitting on the bench every week. They should be playing first team football regular. That's what they need to be doing. And if it means they've got to leave, unfortunately, we'll have to wish them well and see them off. But yeah, it is the sort of the formation and the system that we're playing. It doesn't really suit them anymore, unfortunately. But anyway, Mark C says he's playing as many games as Brian Talbot. Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, Brian Talbot was the same when he never missed a game, did he? He was always in the team every week. 70 games he played that season, didn't he? In 1980, 70 games in a season, incredible. And he didn't stop running in any of them, from what I remember. So he says, yeah, he was. Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he didn't stop running, did he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was great, Brian Talbot. I used to love Brian Talbot. Yeah, brilliant. Terry says, my only problem with KT playing, we're not used to playing with a left back. Well, no, we don't want to play with a natural left back, do we? That's the whole thing. That's the system that we play now, isn't it? Mark C says, KT and Tommy need the Europa, got to get their match chance. Well, no, exactly. Yeah, they will definitely both play. I'll be amazed. In fact, if they don't play on Thursday, both of them, then there's a problem, isn't there, somewhere along the way? There's got to be if they both don't play because they surely they've got to. Terry says, Martinelli plays far too forward for a left back. He does, yeah, when he's covering for the left back who's not at left back. And Marcy says that they all look a bit ring rusty when they come on these days. Yeah, because we've played the same starting 11 so often, haven't we? The same team every week, and the one sitting on the bench, they're sitting on the bench. They're not going to get that, are they? Puns in the chat, he says, we miss Tommy and Tierney, but I feel like Tierney in particular really wants out. Yeah, I mean, they want to play first team football. They're good enough players, aren't they, to be playing regular. Both of them are. They should be playing, and if they can't get in our team, they're not going to be given the minutes on our team, then they're going to have to go, aren't they? I think Tierney will be joining Newcastle, definitely, because they need a left back, and I think that's where he's going to end up in the summer, actually, and we might well regret that, to be fair, selling him to them. I think that might be a really bad decision if that happens, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go for him in the summer and he goes, but it would be a shame. But they're not playing.
Left back to go to Newcastle, Richard.
Kenny Sampson did, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
He didn't directly go there, did he? Oh no, he did.
Did he go Coventry first or not?
I don't know. Coventry might have been after. I'm not sure. He's definitely, because remember, talking about Do you remember that when in the '89 season that we were talking about, we played Newcastle? It so happened to be the day of the Hillsborough disaster, which we didn't really know about at the time. He scored it, and it would have cost us the league, but it got disallowed.
That's
right?
yeah.
It was disallowed for a handball or some ridiculous thing. And I remember once I saw a replay of the goal, and it shouldn't have been disallowed. Actually, we were lucky then. It got disallowed for no real reason, particularly, and that would have cost us the league. Kenny Sanson scoring his only goal he'd ever scored for Newcastle could have cost us the league that season. So. Just funny how little things, isn't it? Little things that you say, little things in the stars, written in the stars or whatever, that's one of them things, isn't it? Mark says, if we qualify for the Champions League, I can't see either Katie or Tommy leaving. I think they may well be replaced with the type of fullbacks that fit the system, personally. That's what I think we might well look to do. But let's see. I mean, we'll need a
Richard,
squad in the
Champions
Champions
League.
League.
Got, if you get another 2 fullbacks, they're being forget if they fit in the system or not, they're not going to get any game time, are they? So you've got the same problem.
But maybe he's not rotating because the 2 fullbacks as backups that he's got aren't really suited to the system. Well, if he had 2 that were suited to the system, he might rotate. I don't know. He might rotate more, that's all. Maybe that's not the reason. It just appears to be the way that we play now. It seems to be, especially Tierney, I think he's really struggled to adapt to that because he likes bombing on down the left wing, doesn't he? He likes getting the ball, bombing on, and now you're seeing him. He's dropping into midfield. He did it the other day when he come on. It's like
it's not natural for him.
No, it's not. He's not. You can see he's not happy doing that. It doesn't suit his game. And if that's going to be the case, I think Arteta will buy a left back that can do that. And if it means them being the backup for Zinchenko, and that he might rotate more. But yeah, I think unfortunately. I don't know. I think that might be the end, unfortunately, for young Kieran Tierney. But anyway, we'll see. So after sport, we need a score prediction for Sporting then away. Melvin, what are you thinking? Do you think 1-0 away? That wouldn't be too bad. That wouldn't be too bad. Neil,
do the away goals count now anymore? They don't, do they?
No.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm actually. I normally try and be different, but I'm going to say 1-1 as well. I think it's going to be 1-1. I think it's good because of the changes. Only because of the changes.
The changes, that's all. I agree. Yeah,
I think they're a Champions League side, aren't they? Didn't they drop out of the Champions League?
Well, they beat Spurs, didn't they, in the Champions League group stage?
Oh, of course, yeah. So it's not going to be an easy game. It's not going to mean that don't mean anything. But,
no, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't mean they're any good because they beat Spurs. Let's be honest.
Oh, do you know what? True. Sorry, I'm changing it. I can't do a draw. 2-1. Shut up. 2-1.
I'm going to go 2-1.
2-1 and Nelson. Come on. Yes.
Again. Yeah, Nelson. He might get one. Yeah, why not? I mean, I think it will be a tough game. I mean, Sporting were unlucky to drop out of the Champions League. That was a group where all 4 teams could have qualified going into the last game. And in the end, it was them that happened to finish third and ended up dropping in. So they're probably an half-decent team, actually. I think it could be a test for us over 2 legs, but I think we'll be strong enough to win. I think we might. Yeah, I kind of agree with Melvin. I think the changes, we're going to be a little bit disjointed, perhaps, in the performance a little bit. Yeah, maybe a draw. I think maybe 2-2. I think we're scoring a few, letting in a few late. I'm going to go for 2-2. That'll be quite a good game to watch, won't it? 13 times gone 2-1 to Sporting. No, don't say 2-1.
Oh, no, not that.
No, don't say 2-1 to Sporting. Terry's gone 4-1 to us. That's a little bit optimistic, I think, in the circumstances. But anyway, Terry says Arteta seems like our left backs to play right wing with Saka. He was popping up on the right wing. He was the other day when he was like, "Where are you going? Go back over there." He was all over the place. But anyway, we love him for it. And of course, after Sporting next Sunday, we've got a really, really difficult looking game in the Premier League. Could be a season defining Premier League game away. I know it seems weird to say, away at Fulham. I've got to be honest, I've been impressed with Fulham this season. They have been really good, haven't they? Surprisingly good. I mean, playing some good football, getting good results. They're in the top 6, aren't they? Fulham. I mean, amazing. What a season they're having. And we've got to go there away from home and try to get 3 points in I think that's going to be a really difficult game. 13 times this gone, okay, 7-0 to Arsenal. Well, yeah, why not? 7-0, that sounds a bit better.
We're not playing Man United.
No, we might get them in the next round, maybe, if we get through. And then maybe we can beat them 7-0, because that seems to be the thing to do at the moment. I think Fulham are, wow, I mean, what a season they're having. Brilliant football they've been playing, great results. And I think this is going to be another real test. They're all tests, aren't they? But this could be a really difficult game for us, I think, on Sunday. Coming off a European away trip, never easy. The turnaround's quite quick. Yes, it's a London derby, so we haven't got a lot of travelling to do. But even so, they're in good form. They've got a goal scorer, Mitrovic, as we know, bangs goals in, and it's the sort of game where if we're gonna. One of the potential banana skins on the running, isn't it? This is one of them games you look at and think this could be one where we drop points. I mean, Melvin, what are you kind of looking at for Fulham then? Do you think that it's going to be as difficult as that, or the form that we're in, it's a good time to be playing them? Go there and win.
Let's play our football. Not worry about the other team. It's going to be very tough. I'm going for a 2-1 win.
Oh, I mean, we'll take a 2-1 win, of
Who are
course.
the players? Is it Leno who played for us and William? Anyone else? I think you said 3.
I think there's one more. I can't think off the top of my head. Maybe not. I'm not sure now. But yeah, they've definitely got them 2. I mean, Leno was always a decent goalkeeper. He's had a great season for Fulham, actually.
Yeah,
he's been absolutely brilliant. And even Willian, who couldn't play for us at all, he's looked good for Fulham, hasn't he? He's had some right good games.
It's why that's that Fulham Chelsea air, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's by the sea.
Air around that area, so that's why he's playing better football.
Is that what it is? Well, maybe.
There.
Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is. But Fulham are playing tonight. Actually, they are
Brentford.
They're losing 2-1 to Brentford. Ivan Toney's just scored a penalty. But that Solomon has just scored again for Fulham. 5 games in a row he scored, Solomon. So he's one to watch, isn't he? Yeah, 5 games in a row.
That's one tonight, obviously, but all the others, like edge of the box, curling it in, far post.
Yeah, he looks a decent player. So they've got him scoring goals. They've got Mitrovic who can score goals. They're a good team. Willian's playing well. Leno's good in goal. Doesn't one of their defenders used to play for us? I'm not sure. Maybe I've got it wrong.
Well, Lukic just played for them, so there's a
just Willian and who?
Lukic. So there's a namesake connection. Anyway,
Lukic.
I don't think it's the same one.
No, it's not the same. Well, it might be.
It might be, yeah. He come out of retirement at 64 to play for Fulham in the Premier League as Leno's understudy.
Did Johnny Haynes ever play for us? Because that'd be a connection.
Who?
Johnny Haynes.
Oh, yeah, he played for Fulham, yeah. I don't think he played for Arsenal, though, did he? I don't think he did.
No, he only played for Fulham. That's all he played for.
Yeah.
He was
Cedric, isn't it? Cedric Suarez.
Of course, you're right, Richard.
There you go. I knew there was a defender, you see. I knew there was a
we
defender.
We've got a chance of winning.
Yeah, we've got more of a chance now if he plays. No, to be fair, I don't mind Cedric, actually. I don't mind.
All right.
But is he playing tonight, is he, for Fulham?
He's on the subs bench.
Is he on the bench, is he? I think he's been on the bench. Oh, there is a player called Lukic in the Fulham team, yeah.
Yeah, there is. That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of Arsenal connections, isn't there, actually?
Yeah.
Wow, excellent. Anyway, yeah. So I'm expecting a really, really tough game. I've got to be honest, and I think if we can go there and win, then that is another statement result.
Big statement.
Big statement. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it would be. It would be. And again, every game that we win now, you look and you think, well, that's one less game to play. That's one less game.
It's narrowing, doesn't it? The whole season's narrowing.
Yeah. It is narrowing, yeah. But I say, looking at the fixture that we've got, this is one of them ones that stick out and you think, oh, I'm not, this is a dodgy one. It's not one that you think, oh, yeah, it's a take for granted almost. No, this is a difficult game. And I if we can come out on top of this 1-0 or 2-1, whatever, I'll be more than happy if we win this game because I think that it's going to be really, really tricky, this. But, I mean, Neil, what are you expecting from Fulham then? Because it's going to be tough, I think. I think it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, I'm not going to get silly and as much as Terry wants me to, and firstly, 7-0 or something. But I think it's going to be a tough game. The main thing is we don't get complacent. I think we've shown a teeny bit of that in some of the games we probably thought that we were going to walk. We certainly keep our attention span from the minute that whistle blows till the very last one, because we saw what happened with Bournemouth. 9 seconds and we were 1-0 down. We've got to make sure that we do keep our attention constantly until we play to that final whistle. Always play to the final whistle, no matter what. We've proven it against Bournemouth in our favour. That could well happen to us one day. We've got to be mindful of that. I think Melvin's right. We just play our game. We know that they're going to employ kind of maybe different tactics. I don't think they don't come across as a build a wall in front of the goal team though. They will go for it a little bit,
They'll
and
play
I think
football,
and exactly they'll play football, which means we've got every chance because we play so well against the teams that play football. We really do. So as long as we play our game, we keep the ball to feet, quick passing. We've got every chance. But it's going to be tough. And I think, I was actually going to go 2-1 as well, but Melvin's taken that. So I'll say 3-2. 3-2, another 3-2. And I know that, but it will probably not be as hard as pressurized. I think we might be 3-1 up with them like 10 seconds to go. They might score one, so something like that. But I think it's going to be a tough game. As long as we get 3 points, I don't care. And that will be 5 wins on the spin as well. Huge. After only getting 1-9.
It would be massive. It would be massive as well because, I think, you talk about the start against Bournemouth. I think if we start like that against Fulham and we go 1-0 down early in that game, it's going to be really tough to come back from that. At home to Bournemouth, yes, it's more expected maybe to a certain degree, but away at Fulham, that would be really tough if we concede first. So, we need to be on it.
They score a quick goal. All right, But it's the other way around. If we can get a quick goal, I think we could run away with it.
Yeah, we could do, yeah.
As you know, on Twitter, I put this is the biggest game of the season since the last biggest game of the season, but it's very true.
But it is.
Because after that, gentlemen, we've got 2 home games, winnable.
Yes.
That will take us, if big word in life, if we beat Fulham, then you've got 2 home games to take us down to 9
Palace
games.
and Leeds.
Palace
and Leeds?
Yeah.
So let's hope Palace do us a favour.
There's an opportunity there for us if we beat Fulham.
Yeah.
To go 9 games to go.
It's a
at least 5 points ahead.
Palace have got Man City, haven't they, at home this weekend? So Vieira, come on, mate.
Well, yeah.
Hope he plays, Neil. Hope he plays.
Well, he's got his understudy now. He's got Tavares. He can do them over. Brilliant. He's playing well for them, apparently. He's doing all right.
Yeah. Well, it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
It would be weird if he scores against City, wouldn't it? How weird would that be?
It would be strange. Yeah, that would just about sum up the season, wouldn't it? If that was happening, actually. That would pretty much sum it up. Terry's gone 3-1 to us, without a doubt. Eddie limped through a hat-trick. I don't think Eddie's going to be fit, though, is he? But it'd be nice if he did. Mark C says, that Paulina's a handy player. Glad he's banned. Yeah, he's a good player, actually, yeah. And 13 times, I think both us and City draw this weekend. Well, two difficult games. Wouldn't be totally surprising, I suppose. But, yeah, if we can win this game, well, it would be absolutely such a big result. And I know, Fulham away, you might think, why are we making such a big thing out of it? But would be tough a really big win. Yeah, really tough game. I think we will win, of course. But I do think 2-1 seems a right sort of result. Actually, you got to think that you're going to have Willian's going to want a point to prove against Arteta without a doubt. He's going to be bang up for this game. Leno as well is going to have a point to prove. 2 players that maybe got discarded a little bit by Arteta. They're both going to be really up for this game. Not just them 2, but Fulham will anyway. But I think that's another factor as well. Playing against your former players sometimes can be tricky. So we've got that to overcome as well. We've got Ryan from Mr. Arsenal podcast. How you doing, mate? He says, evening all. He's gone 3-1 as well to Arsenal. Okay, so there's, some optimism as well in the chat, which is good. Terry says, Neil, you need to take yourself off and sit in the dark. Unbelievable. Well, as long as it's a win, Terry, we'll take any sort of win. We've got 12 more wins that we need. So we'll take them all 1-0 or 3-2 or whatever it might be. But yeah, let's be honest. If we win this game, that'll be brilliant. That'll be fantastic. We look forward to that. So it's a big week for us. I'm maybe more excited about the Europa League than I expected I was going to be, actually, because I just look at it and think, what an opportunity we've got to win the European trophy. I want to try and do it. So I'm quite excited for that. But I'm expecting rotation. But yeah, Fulham is massive. And let's win that. And then, well, who knows? If Palace can do us a favour and we win, wow, imagine if we can be 7 points clear.
Or even 8.
11 games, or 8, 11 games to go. It'll be like, oh my God, suddenly we'll be counting the game where we're going to win the league, won't we? Which game will it be? Will we win the league away?
Let's to the next game, Fulham, all right?
Imagine winning the league at Man City away. Imagine that.
It's going to
win it everywhere else. Why not win it there?
That will be it, won't it? That will be the whole lot, wouldn't it? Of all the big teams.
We might have to give up.
We haven't done it in Chelsea.
Yeah, we won it at Chelsea. We won it at Chelsea twice in the 1930s. Two seasons in a row. Yeah.
I think I went
we've won
one
it
of
at
those.
Chelsea. We've won it at Liverpool. We've won it. We've won it at Man United. We've won it at Tottenham twice. Let's win it at Man City this year. That's it. And then
How
we can
amazing
just
will that be?
Well, it'd just be incredible, wouldn't it? It'll be incredible.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
But we'll take it anyway.
It would be baggy trousers, gentlemen, wouldn't it? If we did that,
it would. We might as well retire, and all of us retire because we've seen it all. That we can't see anymore. That's it now. Let's just retire. I know we've got to win the Champions League first, haven't we? We have to win that stupid thing before we can retire.
Then we can. No, we're going to retire after we win the quad, and then we'll retire.
Okay, we'll retire then. Right? Yeah, that'll do. So okay, we'll have to wait for that then. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big week. It's going to hopefully another results that we want to see. A decent result away in Europe, and then obviously beating Fulham next week, and hopefully we'll be back on the show next Monday, feeling just as optimistic and buoyant as we are now, because that's what we want to keep feeling every week, don't we? It's getting more and more exciting as we go along. Ryan says, Melvin, you was there. How did you forget about winning the title at the Bridge? And he's got a point here. It was 2 years in a row, Melvin. 30, I think it was 1932, 33 or something like that. So yeah, I don't know how you've forgotten, but anyway, we'll keep you right. Don't worry, we'll keep you right.
Bloody hot day that day, I remember.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, it used to get hot days in the 1930s before global warming. You used to get hot days then. Mark C says, I'm trying to figure out at what point it's guaranteed we get Champions League qualification. Well, it won't be far off now, mate, will it? We've got to be quite close, haven't we? Surely. You look at the gap where fifth place in where we are. I don't know. We'd have to work that out actually, but it won't be far off. We're not many wins away from that, are we? Getting Champions League, so that'd be something worth celebrating briefly. Whatever game it is, we'll enjoy that, and then we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, that won't be long. I reckon another 3 wins, maybe, possibly, something like that, potentially. So yeah, we look forward to that, don't we? Good.
Fourth place doesn't have to qualify anymore, does it? Do they? Do they have to play a qualifying round? Fourth spot? Anyone know? I don't think they do now, do they? I think you might go straight through.
No, because Tottenham didn't play a qualifier, did they, this year? I don't think.
No.
Because of the Conference League now, I think it's changed, isn't it?
That's it.
Maybe you're right. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Not that we want to finish fourth, obviously. But
we're not
anyway.
going to finish fourth.
Imagine if we did. Wow, that would be good.
Don't.
Ryan says no, they don't. Yeah, no, I didn't think they. I didn't think Tottenham did. 30 next says 18 points there, 24 points up for grabs. So there you go. Well, yeah, it's not going to be long, is it, till we've sealed that particular. That was the first aim of the season. Get it out of the way. That's done. Lovely. Put that in the way, and then get the next aim of the season. Progressing in the Europa League, and then the next aim of the season.
You're very tactful, I like that, Richard. Very, very clever.
Well, we don't want to get carried away, do we? But it's exciting times that we want to enjoy.
You almost said it. I think you almost said it. And I was going to.
Yeah, almost. I'm not gonna say it yet. I don't want to put the jinx on it anyway.
Oh dear.
You said it at the start of the season, so you've got to go with it. And we've got to go with you because you said that. So we've got to stay with that.
Friendlies. I was only from watching them in the friendlies. I thought this is special. This is really special.
That's what I mean about 89. Do you remember in 89, the summer before that season started, we beat Tottenham 4-0 at Wembley in some little tournament, and we beat Bayern Munich 3-0 in the same tournament at Wembley over a 1 weekend before the 89 season started. And I remember thinking, watching those 2 games, I went to one of the games, I think it was a Tottenham game, one of them I was at, and I remember thinking, actually, this team looked pretty good. We could have a decent season here. I didn't think we'd win the league at that. I wasn't quite that optimistic, but I felt, this team actually looks really good now. I think we've got a good chance of having a good season, and of course, we did. So, yeah, maybe it's got similarities there as well. But we'll see. We'll see. Still 12 games to play.
Just before we go, we know we're going now, but who did we play? Was it a Spanish team we played pre-season? Beat them 6-0.
Yes.
This season, Sevilla, wasn't it? Sevilla.
Yeah.
Seville.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I watched that game. I thought, we've got half a decent team here. First time I saw Jesus play for us, I thought, hold on a minute, there's something different about our team. The way we were playing the foot, moving it around quickly. So another parallel, Mr. Richard. Another parallel.
And another one we just missed. The 4-0 Everton win. 4-0, obviously, with Adam scoring that amazing goal. Bowles set him up. Both captains scored in that 4-0 win. Odegaard and Adams. There's another omen.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Well, there you go. And the player playing left wing in that game, Martinelli against Everton and Overmars against Everton before, scored 2 goals as well. So there you go.
Correct. Oh my God. You are that's it. If you guys don't believe now, I didn't even think of that one. What a spot.
There's loads of similarities.
With the letter M as well. Oh, well, come on.
Well, kind of not really, because Overmars begins with an O, but anyway.
No, that's true. That's true. I get thinking of Mars. I don't know why. Sometimes his shops were almost heading to Mars, weren't they? But bless him, he was brilliant.
He was decent, though, wasn't he?
I loved it. When he first came.
Ryan said it was severe. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 6-0. That was pretty good. But then I remember we beat somebody 5-0 in pre-season a few years ago when Sonogo scored 4 goals, and we was all oh bloody hell, and we ended up finishing about 4th. So
is that when he did that?
It wasn't Ajax, was it? Was it Ajax, or did he go to Ajax?
I can't remember who it was. I remember he scored 4 goals, didn't he? Sonogo, bless him, in some pre-season.
Is that when he did that dance? That's a gif. Have you seen that gif of him dancing? Is that when he did that funny dance, or was that against Liverpool?
He scored 4 goals in that game anyway. I remember that.
The reason why I said M because of Mark. It's Mark, isn't it? Mark Overmars.
Well, Mark Overmars, yeah, but it's Overmars and Gabriel is Martinelli. Okay. But anyway, we'll let you off, Neil. There's a similarity there anyway. 13X has got, I think I've figured it out, 6 wins guaranteed. Well, it might not be that many because if other teams drop points along the way, we might not need to win that many, mightn't we? And Mark C says, fingers crossed, Jesus is back soon. Yeah, I think he will be. I think it was Benfica. Yeah, I think it was Benfica when Sonogo got all them goals. Yeah, that was a funny old day. That was it. I remember that. That was hilarious. But yeah, so there you go. So, what happened to Sonogo? Where did he end up at Crystal Palace? Didn't he, or somewhere? Didn't he? After he left us, Sonogo. But he won an FA Cup.
Samson went. Didn't he? Samson went straight to Newcastle. Then it was Commentary and then QPR, I think. Something like that.
He scored against us for QPR as well in the FA Cup, you know, when he was at QPR in 1990, I think it was. We lost 2-0 at Loftus Road and he scored the second goal, Kenny Sampson. So he almost scored against us for Newcastle. That was disallowed. And then he scored against us for QPR and knocked us out of the FA Cup. I thought, cheers, Ken. All we did for you for all them years and you did that to us. Cheers, mate.
Didn't we get Seaman from QPR?
Yeah, we did. Got Seaman from QPR.
Yes.
And also, we kind of got... Samson from QPR, didn't we? It was a Crystal Palace QPR switch with Clive Allen.
Well, no, but Samson was at Crystal Palace, wasn't he?
Yeah, but then what happened was, didn't we buy?
We bought Clive Allen from QPR. And then we sold him to Crystal Palace and got Kenny Sampson as a swap.
That's it. Yeah.
So. But David Seaman, you say that, Neil, that FA Cup game when Kenny Sampson scored, David Seaman was in goal for QPR.
Yeah, that's what I remembered it.
QPR, and they beat us 2-0, and then we bought Seaman that summer after that. So I was at that game. That was horrible, that. But anyway, good old Kenny. Mark C says, Sonogo, good Lord. Yeah, he won the FA Cup with us. He helped set out the winning goal in that final, didn't he, when he came on against Hull? So, you know,
Ramsey's goal, wasn't it?
He played a part in that, didn't he? So fair play to him. Terry says, I thought we had a good side when we beat Chelsea and then realised our 10th from rubbish. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, but anyway. Mark C says, Charlton. What was Charlton? What was Charlton about again? It must have been one of them games we were talking about before. Charlton.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. You'd have to let us know what that was related to, Mark. Obviously, a game we were mentioning before, probably at some stage. Charlton. What game were we talking about? It wasn't Sonogo didn't score against Charlton.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
No. Oh, maybe was it the dance? Was it? No, it wouldn't have been Charlton. He wouldn't have played against Charlton. They wouldn't have been in the Premier League when Sonogo played, would they?
No.
I don't know. You have to let us know, Mark, what you meant by Charlton, what that's in relation to, because it's got me thinking now that we've missed it.
Sonogo played for. That's where he went.
Oh, Sonogo played for Charlton. Oh, right. I think he played for Crystal Palace as well, didn't he? But yeah, maybe Charlton. I don't know. But anyway, I kind of lost track of him when he left Arsenal. But there you go. He did score in the Champions League for us, though, didn't he? In one game, I seem to remember as well, against somebody or other. That's someone I remember. But anyway, that's the Arsenal review. I think we're number 26 now. And, you know, when we get to 30, who knows where we might be? You know, it's looking
31 after that.
Well, I don't know. We might have to stop at 30. You know, just For Neil's benefit, I think as soon as it looks like we're not going to win the league, we'll have to stop the show because
oh my God, we're going to win the league.
Neil said we're going to win it, so we can't put him through that agony when we
finish the whole season, mate, because we're winning it.
No, we will. We'll finish the whole season.
We all have to be at the parade, Rich, including you.
I'll be at the parade. Don't you worry about that. I'm definitely going to be there for that. If I'm allowed, you see. Apparently, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed because I've not been to enough games. I don't qualify for celebrate when we win the league. You see,
right? Okay.
Because I haven't been to enough games. Apparently, that's the rules now. You know, going to games in the 1980s and the 1990s doesn't count unless you've been to games this season. You're not allowed to celebrate us winning the league. That's the rules. That's the Twitter rules. Didn't you know? That's the new Twitter rule. You're not allowed to. So. I'm just gonna have to sit. I'm just gonna have to sit in silence and pretend we haven't won it if we do, because I'm not allowed to celebrate it. There you go. God. But anyway,
we'll let you celebrate it. You'll be with us. We'll celebrate.
Well, we might have a little celebration, maybe. We might have to, mightn't we? But it'll be good. Anyway, coming up on the channel this week, we got a lot of watch-alongs actually, because there's loads of games. So Wednesday, the women are playing against Liverpool in the WSL, following their brilliant success yesterday in the Continental Cup, first trophy for 4 years for the women. They're going to try and get back on track in the WSL. That was a brilliant game yesterday, actually. If anyone watched that, it was really, really good. They played really well. Nice to see a trophy. Whenever Arsenal win a trophy, it's always a nice moment, isn't it? So that was a great moment yesterday. And hopefully it's the first of a few this season for the club. So the women are back in action Wednesday against Liverpool in the WSL. That game kicks off 7:15. So I'll be live at 7 o'clock for that one. Thursday, of course, it's another early kickoff, isn't it? The Sporting Lisbon game kicks off at 6:15, which is a bit of a pain because I'm going to have to rush up from work to get there. But I should be live hopefully about 5:30ish for that one. Sporting Lisbon away. Then, of course, on Friday, we got the women's show. All the guys looking back on the Continental final. Brilliant memories that they've got from that. And obviously looking back on the Liverpool game and a game on Sunday against Reading. And, of course, on Sunday, there's two watch-alongs. Fulham against Arsenal, 2 o'clock kickoff. So I'll be there at 2:15 for that one. And then the women are playing at 7:15. So a little bit of a break in between. I can have a sit down and then get ready for the women's game in the evening. So it's a busy day on Sunday, but it's a busy few days coming up. It's going to be good. 38 times says there, shout out to the ladies winning the League Cup. Exactly, yeah, they were brilliant yesterday. Really, really good performance from them. Great to see Arsenal winning a cup, beating Chelsea in the final, which is always nice, isn't it? So a bit more of that would be much appreciated. But yeah, that was a good weekend all round for Arsenal, let's be honest. One of the best of the season so far, and hopefully we've got some more good weekends to come, starting with this weekend as we look forward to some more great games. So there's loads coming up on the channel, so please join us for all of that. Terry says, my only downside with the Arsenal team on Saturday, not one of them turned up to watch the Gooner girls win the cup. Well, I mean, to be fair, they were probably busy, after the game on Saturday. They got to go to Lisbon as well, so we'll let them off. Ian Wright was there, though, wasn't he? Ian Wright was in the crowd. He loved it, didn't he? He was definitely there. We saw him. So, but yeah, I mean, you wouldn't expect them really to go to that game, would you? Honestly, I wouldn't have expected them to. The day after they just played a game at the point in the season that we are, I don't know. But I'm surprised Bukayo Saka, maybe he'd have been the one you would have thought. He's shown a bit of support for him, but
I'm not want to play Saka. He likes playing.
Well, yeah, play every game. Yeah, he might do. Yeah, who knows? But anyway. We'll see. But yeah, so loads coming up. So please join us for that. Obviously, thanks to Melvin again for being on the show. Have you enjoyed the show again?
Yeah, really good. Really good to get back on Mondays again. That's brilliant. Thank you.
No, it's always a pleasure. And Melvin and Neil, of course, always the optimistic guy on the channel is what we like to see. You've enjoyed it again? Good to see you.
Always enjoy it. Always a pleasure and always lovely to talk to yourself, Rich, and Melvin this week as well. It's a joy to have Melvin back. Always good to see you both. Honoured.
Always good to see you too.
And all the people in the chat, of course, always.
Yeah, we've had some great comments in 13 times in there. Cheers. No, thank you very much again for watching, as always, and to everybody else as well. Terry, of course, our regular. Where would we be without Terry? We couldn't really do a show about Terry in the chat, could we? It would be the same, would it, really? So, but thanks to everyone, obviously, for watching. Please give us a like before you go, because that's always appreciated. If you are new and you haven't subscribed, please think about that as well, because we've got some great stuff on the channel for you to enjoy over the next couple of months. Particularly, it could be quite exciting, couldn't it? You don't want to miss out, do you, really, on all this great stuff that's going on. So we'll be giving you as much of the coverage as we can to enjoy. So I'll be back on Wednesday. Melvin, you're not on this week, are you? You're next week, aren't you?
Funny enough, I was planned for this Wednesday, but I'll have to change it now for next Wednesday.
Wasn't you on last week, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, I was. They had to change that because of the football. I'm out of sync. So I'm going to be Wednesday, next
right,
Wednesday,
okay.
if that's all right.
There's too many games, isn't there? That's the problem. There's too many games now.
Yeah, I've got Danny from a Burkamp Wonderland.
Oh, brilliant. What a great guest he'll be. Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, all
He's
my
got
guests
some
have been
really
great, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they have. I mean, that show has been amazing. Actually, it's been, for me, it's been one of the highlights of the season on the channel. Actually, the Highbury Matters show, it's been brilliant. And there's still a few more to look forward to because we're up to 1994. We'll be going up to this time, won't we?
4-5, yes, 4-5-5-6.
That's going to be great times still for Arsenal. You know, we won a European trophy in all that period, didn't we? So the last one, we haven't won one since, actually. So there you go. It's about time that we put that right, isn't it? Terry says, or wherever he's gone, Terry says, great show again, Richard. Magic don't even look a year old. No, he doesn't look a year older, does he? He's like Benjamin Button, isn't he, Melvin?
Yes.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
And Neil, he says, we all love you indeed. Of course we do. Mark says he's giving us a thumbs up as well. Robert's in the chat. He says, hi, guys. Hope you're all still in high spirits. Of course we're in high spirits, mate. Watch the show back. You'll see how high spirits we've been in. There you go, if you can. So, yeah, that's that then. I say I'll be back on Wednesday. Melvin will be back next week, of course, for Highbury Matters with Danny. Danny's going to be a great guest. I'm looking forward to that show already, actually. That's going to be brilliant. Is that next Wednesday then, yeah?
Next Wednesday now. I'll have to phone him tomorrow, yeah.
There's no games next Wednesday, is there? I don't know. There might be. I don't know.
I'll have to have a look.
Probably not.
Let me know if there's a women's game.
I don't think there is. No.
I can look it up on the website, can't I?
How fast has that gone, by the way? I remember we were talking about this show, Melvin. You're almost at the Wenger era now.
Wow.
Yeah. I know. Incredible, isn't it? It's flown through, isn't it? I mean, what I want to, I know it's probably impossible to do because obviously there's so many shows that you've done, but wouldn't it be great to have some video of all the episodes one after the other, you know, all the way through?
A couple of minutes of each. Well, what I'm doing is I've got there's 4 people I'm inviting on the last one, right?
Wow.
I've spoken to 2 of them, and one of them I haven't spoken to is Neil. So it's going to be a slightly different program because it can't go on for 4 hours, but it's going to be I'm going to just talk about their memories rather than go through the programs and blah, blah, blah. But a little bit about the season. I'm going to compact that very much and have 4 good guests. Guests that there's a reason I've invited them all.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, that's going to be great. That is. Is that at the end of the season, Melvin?
Yeah, at the end of the 2006. That is sometime in May. I think it's the 17th of May. All things being equal, no women's football. I've invited James on.
Wow.
I'm invited Andrew on from
Dale Square.
From Dale Square.
Oh, wow.
And possibly someone else that I haven't invited yet. I've got to give him a call.
Oh my goodness! Well, thank you.
Wow, what a show that's going to be! That's going to be brilliant. That one.
So for the last one, I thought we'd do something special.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. That's going to be great. That'll be a brilliant show. I look forward to that one. I mean, look forward to them all, but I mean, that's going to be fantastic. That isn't it? And I'll say, I'll have to try to at some point at the end of the season. I'll try and do some sort of combination of all of the shows, bits of all of them. I think that'd be brilliant because it's been an amazing series. Actually, it's been really good.
It's been brilliant.
You know, sometimes I look at it and, you know, I think sometimes with YouTube, I don't know whether it's the algorithm of the channel or something, and sometimes the channel seems to get missed. All the shows one week seem to get missed and hardly anyone watches them. And other weeks they seem to get picked up and they get more views. But that Highbury Match show, some of them, I've watched them and thought, what an amazing show. And you look at it and obviously the algorithm hasn't picked it up and it hasn't got spotted and it's had lower views. And I'm thinking that's almost criminal. It's almost a criminal offence that Melvin's show doesn't get 5,000 views every week because it's so good. It deserves to get a bigger audience, and it's such a shame that sometimes it's not. I think it must be the algorithm on the channel because I say some weeks that all the shows do well, and other weeks they just don't. So it must be to do with that.
It's
so YouTube, if you're out there,
it's such a unique show. I don't think any other channel does it.
No, you know what happens? Someone will copy it. Some bigger channel probably copy it.
Yeah, some bigger channel. But you see, Melvin, to me, if they do that, then it just goes to show what a great idea it was. If they feel like they need to copy it, do you know what I mean? And yes, that's what happens, isn't it? Good ideas. You can't really copyright good ideas necessarily because good ideas are good ideas and people copy them and that's the way it is. But yeah, I mean, you're right. No one does do a show like that, really, because I think everybody's so focused on the here and now, aren't they? And everybody wants to know about what's happening now, and you know, that's what people tend to want to watch. And when you do shows about history and stuff like that, maybe it's not so mainstream. It hasn't got that mainstream audience. But maybe the people that would be interested in it don't know it's there. They're not finding it enough. I think that's the problem. To YouTube, you need to sort out your algorithm stuff. I don't know how it works, but you need to sort it out. You have to make sure that these shows that are so great to watch are getting, you're pushing them out there for people to see. Because don't forget, YouTube are making money off my channel, so they should be doing all they can to get the most amount of people watching all the shows, really, because they're going to benefit from it as well. So that's what they should be doing. But yeah, sometimes it actually upsets me, I must admit. I get the sometimes. I look at it and think, why aren't more people watching this? Because it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it's almost, I say, it should come under a criminal offence not to watch it. Actually, quite honestly. It should be, you should be sent on, like, you should have to do like 20 hours community service every time you miss it, quite honestly, because it's that good. But anyway, hopefully the rest of them will get some really good views and will enjoy. I mean, last week's one I thought was going to get massive views and it just didn't. But last week, none of the shows did on the channel.
Last week's was one of my favourites. Well, they're all favourites.
It was a great show last week. Yeah, it was. I mean, I know I couldn't watch it live, but I mean, I've watched it back. It still counts as a view when people watch it. So it doesn't matter. They don't have to watch it live as long as they watch it. But yeah, I don't know. Last week was a bad week for the channel all round, really. I don't know why. It's just YouTube for you. This week seems to have been a bit better so far, and we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get picked up again. The algorithm will pick us up, and we'll get pushed around a bit more, and people will find us. But yeah, they definitely need to watch that show because it's just brilliant. Robert says, I had to download Neville's facial expressions after he slagged off Arthur. Well, I mean, to be fair, it was funny seeing Man U lose 7-0. It's always funny seeing them suffer, I suppose. But anyway, Terry says, I love the idea. Great idea. Yeah, that last show is going to be great. Yeah, it is. It's going to be fantastic. In fact, they all are. So watch them all. Don't just wait for the last one. Watch all the rest as well, because there's some great periods to come. We haven't even got to the Wenger era yet. Imagine how good them shows are going to be. When we go through the Wenger era, especially the first 10 years of Wenger, it's going to be incredible. So, wow, brilliant stuff. We're so fortunate to be Arsenal fans, aren't we, to have experienced what we have over the years. And, shows like what Melvin's doing, when you can get those memories of all those great moments, it's incredible. We have been so lucky, let's be honest. We have been lucky. Yeah. Imagine if we'd been born Spurs fans. Imagine that. Imagine how unfortunate we would have been. So, we have to. I thank my lucky stars every day that I support Arsenal. Even in the bad times, which aren't really that bad in the overall scheme of things, are they? You know what I mean? It's we've been so lucky. It's things that we've experienced is just mad, and yeah, brilliant. And I say Melvin helps us to remember them all those great moments, and some not so great moments as well. But it's what it's all about, isn't it? So yeah, definitely tune in for that next week anyway. But there's loads coming up before that because we've got some big games to come, and we're going to enjoy them, and it's going to be great, and we're going to be. Hopefully still at least 5 points clear this time next week. Maybe more. Who knows? Maybe more. Wouldn't that be good? Come on, Patrick. Do us a favour, mate. Beat City. Just do it.
Come on.
I'll see you Wednesday for the women's game. It's going to be good fun. So enjoy that. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you very soon. Take it easy, guys. Thanks to Melvin. Thanks to Neil. Thanks to everyone in the chat. And, hang on. Terry says, is your drone coming out, so causing mayhem with the airways? Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I want to get my drone out this weekend, actually, if the weather's nice. It's meant to snow, though. Yeah. Mark says, I feel sorry for the younger fans who never got to watch a match. But yeah, I do, actually. But then having said that, now you've got this younger generation at the Emirates that are enjoying what's going on now, and they'll experience these things now, hopefully. But yeah, they'll never see Highbury, and unfortunately, yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for them. But we were lucky. That's what I mean. We were lucky to experience that as well, wasn't we? I'm so pleased I've got the opportunity to. Terry says, come on, you Gunners, indeed. So we'll see you very soon. I'm back on Wednesday. Melvin will be here soon. Neil will be back next week, I'm sure. Come on, you Gunners. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep doing it. Come on. North London, as Steve would say. Let's go. He loves it, doesn't he? Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seems